ಹಲೋ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್, ವೆಲ್ಕಮ್ ಟು ಆರ್ ಡಿ ಕೆಮಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿ. ಈ ವಿಡಿಯೋದಲ್ಲಿ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಪಿ ಯು ಸಿ ಕೆಮಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುವ ಕೆಲವು ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ ಲಿಸ್ಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ನಾನು ಬರೀತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ಸೊ ಲೆಟ್ ಅಸ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ನೌ. ಸಾಲಿಡ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್ ಇಂದ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಒನ್ ಡೆನ್ಸಿಟಿ ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ. Density D is equal to Zm divided by A cube Na, correct? So D is the density. Generally we write in terms of gram per cm cube. Okay, generally we write. Okay, then M stand for the molar mass. Molar mass, molecular mass or atomic mass of the substance given. A stand for the edge length here, right? A stand for the edge length. Now this edge length can be in terms of centimeter, can be in terms of picometer, can be in terms of angstrom they can give. Since we want answer in terms of gram per cm cube, convert picometer or angstrom into centimeters. You know that 1 angstrom is equal to 10 to the power minus 10 meters, which is equal to 10 power minus 10. 1 meter is equal to 100. 10 power 2 centimeter, that will be equal to 10 to the power minus 8 centimeter. Okay. Similarly, 1 picometer is equal to 10 to the power minus 12 meters, which is equal to 10 to the power minus 12 into 1 meter is equal to 10 power 2 centimeter, or 10 power minus 10 centimeter becomes. Okay, right? Now, Na stand for, you know that Na stand for Avogadro number is 6.022 or 23 into 10 power 23 particles per mole, right? Yeah. Then what is Z stand for? Z stand for number of particles per unit cell. Z is equal to 1 for simple Q. Z is equal to 2 for BCC. And Z is equal to 4 for FCC. Correct? Also remember, in case of simple cube, A is equal to 2R. Right? In case of BCC, square root of 3A is equal to 4R. R stands for the radius. And in case of FCC, square root of 2A is equal to 4R. Right? Clear? In case of solutions, we can calculate number of moles is equal to given mass divided by the molar mass. Correct? There we come across different types of molality terms. Okay. So molarity M. So it is the molarity. Molarity is equal to number of moles of the solute divided by volume in terms of liter. Similarly, molality is equal to number of moles of the solute divided by the mass of the solvent. You write a mass of the solvent in terms of kgs, and this is the volume of the solution we have got, right? Yeah. Then how to write down the mole fraction x1 and x2? It can be for the solute or the solvent. Okay. Suppose x1 is for the solvent, then how to write down? Number of moles of the solvent N1 divided by number of moles of the solvent plus that of the solute, total number of moles. Similarly, if the 2 is for the component solute, then how to write down N2 divided by N1 plus N2, correct? And remember, there are only two components for binary solution, x1 plus x2 is always equal to 1, right? We have to remember colligative properties and Raoult's law and the Henry's law. So let me start with the Henry's law. In the case of Henry's law, the partial pressure of the gas is equal to the Kh Henry's constant into the mole fraction of the gas. Okay, this is the mole fraction of the gas. This is the partial pressure of the gas above the surface of the liquid. Then if you mix two liquids forming ideal solution, then we have got total pressure of the solution is equal to pressure of the first component plus pressure of the second component. Correct? This is the partial pressure of the components. So which is equal to, so P1 naught into X1 plus P2 naught into X2. So P1, P2 are the vapor pressure, the pure states. In the pure state, X1, X2 are the mole fraction, the two components. Right? So this is according to the Raoult's law. The first colligative property is the relative lowering of vapor pressure. We have got formula P1 naught minus P1 divided by P1 naught. Correct? P1 naught is the vapor pressure of the pure component, P1 is the vapor pressure of the solution after mixing the solute, which is equal to mole fraction of the solute according to Raoult's law, which is also equal to, you can write it as the N1 divided by N2 divided by N1 for dilute solution, I'm telling, dilute solution, which is equal to W2 divided by M2 into M1 divided by the W1. Remember, in our syllabus, we have got if they write 1, this is only for the solvent component, and 2 represent for the solute component, whether it is a mass, molecular mass, or weight. Okay, right. Next, we have got the second colligative property, that is the elevation in the boiling point, correct? Elevation of boiling point. In the case of elevation of boiling point, we have got delta TB, the difference in the boiling point is equal to Kb into the molality. Kb stand for the Ebullioscopy constant, or you can use one more formula, delta TB is equal to Kb into 1000 into W2 divided by W1 into the molar mass M2. Remember same thing here. Okay. W1 for weight of the solvent, W2 for the weight of the solute, M2 for the molar mass of the solute. Kb is the constant which will be given there. Okay. Similarly, we have got for the depression the freezing point. Depression in the freezing point. Depression of the freezing point. Okay. Similar formula, delta TF difference in the two freezing points is equal to the KF into molarity. KF stand for the cryoscopic constant which will be given. Or the delta TF is equal to KF into 1000 into W2 divided by W1 into molar mass M2, right? Next, we have got osmotic pressure. Osmotic pressure, important formula we have got. We can write variations of the osmotic pressure. Osmotic pressure is equal to pi. Okay, don't get confused. 3.14. Some students have a tendency to write 3.14. Okay, so it's equal to C into R into T. What is C stand for? C stand for the molarity. I'll write capital A, molarity into R into T. Okay. So pi is equal to molarity, then but number of moles of the solute divided by volume in terms of liters, correct? Into R into T. Or I can write pi is equal to number of moles of the solute W2 divided by M2, correct? Into RT divided by the volume in terms of liters. Or I can write pi V is equal to, pi V can be equal to, pi V is equal to nRT, one formula from here, or pi V is equal to W2RT divided by the molar mass M2. You can calculate molar mass, unknown molar mass of the solid given. Okay, right? And from electrochemistry, we have got the cell constant. The cell constant G star is equal to RK. Is equal to RK. And the unit of G star is in terms of SI unit, okay, centimeter inverse it is. Or we have got one more formula, G star is equal to the length divided by area cross section. Length, you know that in terms of meter, and area in terms of meter square. That's why you get the formula, okay, meter inverse. Okay, or you can also get it from the units of R and K, right? So then we calculate the lambda m. The molar conductivity is equal to K divided by 1000 C. Okay. So this K is in terms of Simon meter square mole inverse, the SI unit. And therefore this K is in terms of Simon meter inverse. And the C is in terms of mole per liter or mole per dm cube, one in the same. Or one more formula is there, lambda m is equal to 1000 K divided by C. In this case, the lambda m in terms of Simon meters, centimeter square and mole inverse. Okay, remember this one. And K is in terms of Simon centimeter inverse, and C generally we write in terms of mole per, okay, liter or mole per dm. One more. If you want only the pure SI unit, then lambda m is equal to K divided by C. K is in terms of Simon, okay, Simon meter inverse, okay, Simon meter inverse. Then we have got C in terms of mole per meter cube. Number of moles per unit volume. Volume in terms of meter cube given. So this is pure SI unit. Okay. Generally, problems are based on only on this. Okay. So in this case, this is generally asked one. Okay, right? How to calculate the degree of dissociation of the electrolyte? Degree of dissociation of the electrolyte. Okay. So what is the form? What is the symbol for degree? Is alpha. Alpha is equal in terms of lambda m divided by one more term lambda m infinity. What is lambda infinity? Lambda infinity nothing but the molar conduct at infinite dilution. At infinite dilution, which is can be obtained from the Kohlrausch law. Okay, right? Suppose I want to find out lambda m infinity of, say, let me take one example, magnesium chloride. Okay. So you know that magnesium chloride can dissociate to give one magnesium ion and two chloride ions. So I can write this one as, so we want ionic conductivity of the magnesium 2 plus 2 times chloride. No? So 2 times the ionic conductivity of the chloride ion. So for magnesium and chloride values are given, just add up to get the lambda m infinity. Okay, right? Then you remember 1 Faraday is equal to 96,500 coulombs per mole, or which is equal to, this is nothing but the charge on 1 mole of electron. Charge on 1 mole of electrons. 1 mole of electrons it is. Clear? Right? How to calculate a standard EMF or standard electrode potential? Standard electrode potential. Okay. For that, we need to know the E naught value or the SRP value of the either cathode anode which we written. Okay. So E naught cell is equal to E naught of the cathode, E naught of the cathode minus E naught of the anode, minus E naught of the anode. This in terms of SRP values according to our syllabus. Okay. Then we have got formula E naught cell which is connected to the equilibrium constant 0.0591 divided by n log Kc. We can find out the equilibrium constant. N stand for number of electron, okay, transfer or gain during the reaction for anode reaction or cathode reaction. Okay, right? Then, how to calculate the Gibbs free energy change? Gibbs free energy change is equal to delta G naught is equal to minus NF E naught cell. Here, E naught cell required in so many cases. But how to calculate just E cell? E naught cell, when I say, they always has a standard condition for 298 Kelvin. The pressure is 1 atmosphere and it is for 1 molar concentrated solution. That's a fixed one. Suppose I change all these temperature and all. Okay. Generally, we change the concentration. Then how to calculate E naught cell? E naught cell can be calculated in Nernst equation. Okay. Nernst equation. Now I'll give you an example how to calculate the E cell. Okay. Consider the Daniell cell, galvanic lead cell. Zinc ion undergoes oxidation to give zinc 2 plus, correct? Number electron transferred is equal to 2 or lost is equal to. And copper, okay? Copper 2 plus the form of copper sulfate becomes copper, correct? So here also electron gained are equal to 2. So N value will be 2 here, okay? So zinc undergoes oxidation the anode and copper undergoes reduction to give the cathode, correct? So there is the anode, there is the cathode, but N value is equal to in both the cases here, okay? So N is equal to, we have to take. So how to calculate simply E cell? E cell is equal to E naught cell, the fixed value. E naught cell is equal to E naught, a cathode minus anode, the fixed value, minus 0.0591 divided by N value, here N value is equal to, then log K, generally we say K means equilibrium constant. So equilibrium constant generally nothing but product divided by the reactant concentration. So remember here, copper in the solid state, concentration taken as 1. So we are not interested in this one. Zinc in the form of solid, okay, concentration solid is taken as 1. But remaining are in the form of aqueous solution. Remember, so we have tried on product divided by reactant. Product is zinc 2 plus, whatever the concentration to give, divided by copper 2 plus concentration. See that the number of the charges on the, okay, total charges on the cation and, so total charges on zinc and the copper is same, N is equal to 2, right? Or you can also write this one in terms of anode concentration, because zinc is anode divided by cathode concentration. See to that total charges on this is same. Okay, clear, right? When I come across the chemical kinetics, okay, so some of the formulas I'll give now, chemical kinetics. Here we have, okay, if you want to calculate the K value, the unit of K for different orders, okay, so if you want to find out the order for the reaction when they give the K value, okay, K value in terms of it is a mole liter inverse you take to the power 1 minus n, then time in terms of inverse, okay, or second inverse. We write the time in terms of second inverse. You put the n value is equal to 0, 1, 2, 3. So you'll get the unit of the rate constant K here, correct? So n stands for the order of the reaction, right? Then we have got for zero order reaction. Remember for zero order reaction, we have got some ready-made formula, zero order reaction. For zero order reaction, we have got K is equal to R naught minus R divided by T, correct? So for zero order, we also have got half-life. Half-life is equal to R naught divided by 2K, clear? Divided by 2K. K is the rate constant. And if you go for the first order reaction, we have got the integrate rate equation K is in terms of 2.303 divided by T log of R naught divided by R, right? Or for half-life of the first order reaction is equal to 0.693 divided by K, correct? So that is the divided by K. We'll have to remember divided by K, right? Now see here half-life is directly proportional to R naught. Directly proportional to R naught depends on the initial concentration. But if you see here in the first order reaction, the last equation I wrote does not contain the R independent of initial concentration. So in general, we have got half-life for any order reaction. Half-life for any order reaction is directly proportional to R naught initial concentration to the power 1 by n. Okay, or you can also have T of is inversely proportional to R naught to the power n minus 1. That is what the textbook gives, okay, which is also equal to proportional to 1 minus n, okay, right? Now, suppose they ask the amount of the substance left after some time interval, okay? So we have formula, amount of the substance left, amount of substance remaining, amount of substance left after some time interval, let it be R is equal to initial concentration R naught divided by 2 to the power n. Suppose I know the half-lives. Okay. So n stands for number of half-lives. Number of half-lives. Number of half-lives. Now what is the n is equal to? So for example, total time is equal to 30 minutes. If they give total time is equal to 30 minutes. And if the reaction has got half-life is equal to say 5 minutes. So in this 30 minutes, how many half-lives are there? So it is 5 into 6, okay, 60, correct? So many minutes, correct? So 5 into 6, 30, correct? That means how many half-lives are there? 5 into, let it be n. So there are how many half-lives are there? There are 6 half-lives are there, correct? Half-lives are there. Therefore, in this equation, you substitute 2 to the power 6 it will become. Clear? Yeah, that's all in this video. I've covered physical chemistry important formula list. In the next video, I will come with the first PUC important formula to be studied for the KCT. Okay. Thank you for watching. Please do subscribe RD Chemistry YouTube channel and support me. Have a nice day.